Half live in one city. The rest barely exist. Here is a country nearly 3 times the size of France, larger than Texas, California, and Montana combined, and almost nobody lives in it. Mongolia has about 3.5 million people spread across more than 600,000 square miles. That is roughly 2 people for every square kilometer, the least densely populated nation on Earth. Now the part that breaks your brain. Half of those 3.5 million live in a single city, which means the other half are scattered across an emptiness the size of Western Europe. So how does an entire country function on almost nobody? The answer is that the emptiness is not the problem. The emptiness is the business plan. This is No One Lives Here, where we map the emptiest places on Earth and work out why they stay that way. Most of our files ask why nobody moved in. Mongolia asks something harder because people did. There is a whole nation here with a government, an economy, and a capital. The question is how? How do you run a country when your population is thinner than almost anywhere on the planet, and half of it is crammed into one freezing city? The answer starts with what the other half is doing out on the grass. Start with the scale, because the numbers barely feel real. Mongolia covers about 603,000 square miles, a country the size of Alaska. Lay it over the United States, and it stretches from the Rockies to the Mississippi. Now count the people. About 3.5 million. That is fewer humans than live in the city of Los Angeles, spread across a land that size. And the raw density number, roughly 2 people per square kilometer, still undersells it, because Mongolians do not spread out evenly. Around half of the entire nation, close to 1.5 million people, lives in the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Take that city away, and you are left with a landmass bigger than Western Europe, holding well under 2 million people. In the emptiest provinces, the density falls toward 1 person for every 2 square kilometers. There are stretches of Mongolia the size of a small country where you will pass more livestock than human beings in a full day of driving. This is what the emptiest nation on Earth actually looks like. Not a wasteland, but an ocean of grass with the people scraped to the edges of it and stacked into one city. So look at where they went. Ulaanbaatar began as a wandering monastery town for a few thousand monks. Today it holds close to half the country, around 1.5 million people and climbing, because the steppe keeps pushing people toward it. And here's the strange part. It is not really one city. Roughly 1 million of its residents live in what are called the Gur districts, vast unplanned neighborhoods of traditional felt tents and small houses ringing the built-up core. When a herding family loses everything in a bad winter, this is where they come. They tow their gur, the round tent their ancestors lived in out on the open plain, and pitch it on a bare hillside plot at the edge of the capital. Often there is no sewer line, no running water, and roads that turn to mud. The city center was built under socialism for a few 100,000 people. It is now absorbing the slow collapse of a rural way of life, one family at a time. Half of Mongolia now lives in this single overloaded valley. The other half is still out on the grass, keeping the country's real economy alive. Because Mongolia's real economy is not in the city. It is standing out on that grass, and there are about 65 million head of it. Sheep, goats, cattle, horses, and camels, the 5 animals Mongolians call the 5 snouts. They outnumber the human population roughly 20-1. Close to a third of all Mongolians still make their living herding them, many of them fully nomadic, packing up their jars and moving with the seasons exactly as their ancestors did in the time of Genghis Khan. And this is the key to the entire country. You cannot stack grass. A steppe this dry can only feed so many animals per acre, so the herds have to be spread thin and moved constantly to fresh pasture. Wealth here is measured in livestock, and livestock needs land, oceans of it, for every single family. That is why the country is empty. The emptiness is not a failure to develop. It is the physical footprint of a herding economy that has worked for 3,000 years. A herder with 1,000 animals is a wealthy man, and 1,000 animals need a valley to themselves. Space is not wasted in Mongolia. Space is the capital. But a fortune made of living animals can die in a single winter. Mongolians have a word for it: Dzud. A dzud is a summer drought followed by a savage winter, when snow and ice seal the grass under a lid the animals cannot break through, and the herds starve and freeze by the millions. In the winter of 2010, a dzud killed around 10 million animals, close to a quarter of the entire national herd. It happened again in the winter of 2023 into 2024, the harshest in half a century, when roughly 7 million animals died and thousands of families lost more than 70% of everything they owned. Think about what that means. A family that was comfortably wealthy in October can be ruined by March, with nothing left but a frozen field of carcasses. And once your herd is gone, there is almost no way back into herding. So you load what remains into a truck and drive to Ulaanbaatar, and you become one more gur on the edge of the coldest capital on Earth. Climate change is making the dzud more frequent. The emptiness that built the country is getting harder to survive. Which brings us to the city all of that collapse flows into. Ulaanbaatar is the coldest capital city on Earth. It is the only national capital with a yearly average temperature below freezing, sitting near -1 degree Celsius, and on January nights it routinely drops past -30. Now put close to 1 million people in tents on the edge of it, and give them one affordable way to survive that cold. Coal. Every winter the Gur districts burn coal, wood, and sometimes tires and plastic in small stoves, and the smoke pools in the valley. In the depths of winter, air pollution in Ulaanbaatar has measured 20 to 27 times the level the World Health Organization calls safe, among the worst of any capital on the planet. And the country cannot simply industrialize its way out, because of the last fact on the map. Mongolia is landlocked, wedged between just two neighbors, Russia and China, with no coastline and no third direction to turn. It is the second largest landlocked country in the world. Everything it sells, and every route out, runs through one of two giants. A nation this empty, this cold, and this boxed in has very few easy moves. So how does the emptiest country on Earth actually function? It runs on a bargain that is now coming apart. For 3,000 years the deal was simple. The land is too dry to farm and too vast to fill. So you do not fight the emptiness, you live off it, moving animals across an ocean of grass that no fence could ever improve. The emptiness was never the problem. It was the entire economy. But the bargain is breaking. The winters the herds once survived now kill them by the millions, and every ruined family drains toward the same freezing, cold-choked city, until half the nation is packed into one valley and the other half is thinning out behind them. Mongolia is slowly splitting into two countries, one overloaded capital and one emptying steppe. And that is the pattern this channel keeps finding. The thing that makes a place breathtaking, all that open, untouched space, is usually the exact same thing that keeps it empty. In Mongolia, the emptiness was the whole point. The only question left is how much longer the grass can hold the country together. This is No One Lives Here, where we map the emptiest places on Earth and the reasons they stay that way. Next file, Australia. An entire continent where 95% of the land is nearly empty, and almost everyone clings to a thin ring around the coast. Subscribe, and we will see you on the next map.